Hello and welcome back to the channel. Please, I always say please excuse my hair, but please excuse my hair. It's just been freshly washed, so in 5 seconds it will be this big. And yeah, apparently TikTok is telling me that I've just got to put some more products on, because if my hair goes that frizzy, then I've got naturally curly hair or naturally wavy hair. I'm just not doing the right things with it. Job for another time, I tell you. So I've just come back after the show. I hope you can't hear a whining in the background. I am having to do a bit of daisy chaining in the back. I've put my van on charge, and then I've had to charge my EcoFlow off the van to be able to get the socket working. So I've got power in my EcoFlow, but I don't want to deplete it all. So I can have just a little plug-in heater, because I am inside today. John's doing some recording and videos and editing and stuff outside. We got back tea time last night from the show and decided that we might as well keep the situation as it is with the vans, even though we've both got things to be doing on them. But for the next couple of days, it is catch-up time to get on with all the work that we've missed. We've been doing the bare minimum of everything that we need to do to get things done, keeping in touch with everyone, checking everything out. But now it is time. Laptop's out, coffee is ready, and the heater will be back on in a minute, because that was even louder than the charger, so I'll put that on. I don't know if you'll find it, when you go to big events, or you have this big build up to it, and it's a mixture of like excitement, a bit of trepidation, a little bit of nervousness maybe, because you're going to see people, maybe people you've not met before, but generally just being in big crowds of people. Because I find that, and then it's like I have to dig deep into my big girl pants drawer and pull out a pair and then crack on with it. And then while you're there, you're kind of running on everything. You're running on the power of other people, the positivity, the lovely smiles, the everybody who we met, who we had a chance to talk to, were just absolutely wonderful. And we got to meet some people that have been subscribed to us for years, and actually managed to see their faces and say hi and continue conversations that we've had online. And I think that's my favourite part. My favourite part is definitely the people, although I am absolutely peopled out at the moment. It's not because I don't like those people, it's just that it was too many people for too long a period of time. And then it finishes. And when it finishes, you leave, because they kind of kick you out a bit. But you leave, and then we had the pleasure of still spending one more night with Mevi and Daz. We had the pleasure of seeing those for a little bit, so it kind of delayed the crash afterwards. I don't know if this is something for everyone, but it's something I've always found. And I was thinking about it yesterday, about how lucky I am. And I was bottom lip was sticking out this much on the way back in John's van. I am so incredibly lucky that I have friends who I miss. I can't wait to see them. And we spent all week with them. And then when they're gone, I miss them. It's just so nice to be around people that you don't have to watch what you say. There's that comfortable thing. And then I went down the rabbit hole of how lucky I am that all of my friends are like that. I've got friends from home who I've not seen for such a long time, but I know if I just picked the phone up and called them, we would have a right laugh, and we would pick up exactly like a year or whatever hasn't passed. I am incredibly lucky, and I am lucky that they understand the way that I am, because I get overwhelmed very easily. I get peopled out very quickly. I think that I reply to text messages and completely forget. And generally, if you look at what I do and what I'm like on paper, I'm a real shitty friend. I'm not. At least I don't think I am. And I have this conversation enough with my friends to kind of get that everyone's got their own thing going on. Because I was thinking the other day, it's like everything has changed so much from when we first left the house, and maybe even the reasons for leaving the house have changed a little bit. Obviously, everything that we want to do with the travel, and we still want to do all of that, but with circumstances changing, having to look at more reliable sources of income, things like that. It's kind of, I had a bit of a, what on earth am I doing moment? Because when I gave up the house and all of that, I didn't think I'd be giving up my friends a little bit, like leaving them. It was like, leave the bricks and mortar, we don't need that stuff. Leave the bills, leave the stress, leave the not the best neighbours, not the best neighbourhood, not the best town. And I was leaving my friends and my family, taking that step back from them too. And I think that's one of the things I found the hardest out of all of this, is realising that I did that, Mrs. People Pleaser. And that's a good thing and a bad thing, because for once I did something, checking with the most important people that it was okay, of course. And then having conversations with everybody else and saying, this is what I'd like to do. Whereas normally, I can't do that because they won't like that, or what if they get upset with me, or what if they won't speak to me again, or all of the overthinking, all of the things like that. And in reality, that in itself didn't happen, but things have changed. I went to see one of my lovely friends at her dad's funeral back in Manchester, which was an awful, awful thing to have as the first time we'd seen each other for years. But I got hugs off all the family. My old boss was there because we used to work together. And we all had hugs and the speediest, hopefully most respectful catch-up that we could do given the circumstances. And that's why when we finish the vans, John and I will be just shooting off in different directions for a little bit. John's had a chance to see his parents and we're going to see our daughter and all the other things. But I need to go and see my friends. So I need to go and get my fill of all of this wonderful friendships that I'm completely thankful for. And try not to have this massive crash of overthinking and overwhelm. And I'm over everything. I would like to just be thankful and be able to keep in touch without worrying that I've left it too long, but knowing for sure that I haven't. I think with menopause, I've never second-guessed myself so much in my entire life. Bearing in mind, I second-guessed myself a whole lot. We were talking over the weekend, the amount of women that came up to me and thanked me for talking openly about the menopause and just openly about me, how I am. And understanding that there's so many of us, which makes me kind of sad, but also kind of glad and hopeful that we can all help each other out a little bit. There's a mix of ADHD and menopause. Which one brings the anxiety in? Could be both. Could be sometimes why it's so unpredictable. But with a mix of all of that, on top of everything else, being able to talk to people about it, I think it is an absolute case of a problem shared is a problem halved, or quartered, or eighth, or whichever way, because everybody is just so lovely about it, and everybody is willing to talk about it, which needs to be done. It needs to be done. It needs to be okay to fly off the frigging handle and then regret it later and know you're surrounded by people who know that that's not you. You're not that kind of person. That's not how it happens, instead of being made to feel absolutely ashamed and awful that you turned into that person when you didn't. It's a momentary blip. It's something to maybe give you a kick up the backside to get something sorted if you can't take HRT like me. If there's something else that you want to do that's different. John and I have found that just acknowledging the fact that we now know this is a thing is helping. I texted him the other day saying I was raging. I was absolutely raging because of all the shops and things I've had to do. And then when I came back, he gave me 10 minutes in the van. He knew I just needed to decompress a little bit, and then came out and said, shall I bring the shopping in? And that's what I needed just then. And then I felt bad that he had to pussyfoot round me, but he doesn't mind. He's like, everyone gets cranky, and it's just, that communication to tell people, listen, I'm cranky, could you just give me 10 minutes? And that makes the biggest difference of all. I'm hoping to gather up some bits of information about menopause. I've been given so many questions. People have answered my questions. I've been so overwhelmed again with how forthcoming people are with telling me things that I know I can share that would hopefully help other people too. I've got a lovely online friend who does menopausal mindfulness. So she does all the things that can help you get over things, help you deal with all the stuff that's going on in here and in here. So I'm hoping maybe to do something, do a live, do something that's recorded, because she's willing and able to help us all out and to help us calm this storm that is going on in our heads all the time. So that's something that's hopefully coming up. I hope that that will be as helpful as it sounds. Nikki is wonderful. And yeah, we can work on that a little bit. But for now, I'm just going to feel sad in my van and get some work done. Because this anticlimax after doing stuff, it always gets me. Meetups, you know, the big shows, getting the chance to be around good people, then I think I'm fortunate to have something to miss, you know? So what I'd like to do is see, obviously I'm quite upfront in telling people what I take, or now what I don't take as much, and it's nothing to do with the recommendations not fitting the bill anymore, just more of me forgetting to take them. And I mean, I am feeling a difference now. I think it's been 2 entire months since I stopped taking something, so I'm going to hit the magnesium up again, because I think that is a good thing. I'm getting night sweats more than I ever did before. However, the liquid collagen for me is one of the biggest things I found. I am not aching. Nothing has taken that away. I've been on turmeric with curcumin. I've been on glucosamine and chondroitin. There's all the different things. Magnesium's supposed to help with all of that. I think the saffron's supposed to help, but the liquid collagen is the only thing that seems to be doing really well. And believe it or not, when my hair, I mean, it's still wet at the minute, but when my hair is dry and straightened, my goodness, it's thick, it's shiny, my skin feels better, even after being in those halls with the lights and the aircon and things all week. So if you've got anything that you take that you have found particularly helpful for any of the side effects of menopause, if you wouldn't mind dropping me a line and letting me know, either through here or Instagram or anything like that, would be lovely. I'd like to maybe collate a little bit of a list to say that for anxiety, these are the things that you could try that have been recommended to me. If you have the night sweats, this is what you can do. Terrible rage. But, you know, all the things like that, just to collate a list of something, and I'll see if I can get it as a resource somewhere for us to be able to look at quite simply. I just think it'd be nice to collate it all together so that it's a one-stop thing. So if you've tried ashwagandha, for instance, but you find it's not working so well, you can just go and have a look and say, well, you know what, actually, I'll try the saffron instead and see if that's any better. So I'm not a medical expert. It literally is like a women's health website where you go on there and they say, oh, our residential expert has been trying this, and this to see what it is. I'm not an expert. I've tried a lot of things, and I know people have too. So it literally is hopefully just going to be a way of collating everything and making sure everyone can find it. So I've come back from this show with a sore throat, either through talking or aircon. Hopefully it is not anything more than that, because we've got obviously lots of things to do. And so I am going to start resting my throat, drink a bit more water, and get some work done. I can see out there the sawing table that's got a piece of wood on it that is going to be cut up into 2 bits to become my second tall cupboard over there. I think the voting on the last video for what would be better, to leave it or have it as it's have a bit of symmetry in the van. I think everyone was saying, as I agree with, that there should be a second cupboard there. And when I think of how much storage I'd miss out, and if I didn't have that there, I think it would be it'd be daft not to put it. So thank you for sitting through yet another chat about how mixed emotions are. I know everybody, or so many people, shouldn't generalize within everybody, so many people who go to meetups or go to big things, and I'm thinking, somebody, it can't just be me, that has this massive climb to get there and then this massive crash afterwards. So, and whether you have one good friend, all your friends are online, millions of friends, whichever way you want to do it, just be careful with your time. Don't do yourself over for pleasing everybody else. That has been my biggest thing that I have learnt this past year, is that you are more important than anybody else. And if you don't look after yourself, you can't look after everybody else. There's no need to people please. You just be nice. And if you're a nice person anyway, then that's just going to work. And if you're not a nice person, that's something to work on. So thank you once again. Take lots and lots of care. Sending massive hugs out to everybody that needs one. And if you don't need one, you can have one anyway. And I will see you on the next one, when no doubt I might be talking about toilets. Lots of love, guys. See you soon. Bye.